Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Yes, hello, welcome back to the Ask Rob and Rob podcast. This is episode number 13, the 13th question of yours that we are tackling. And it's a good one this week. Well, it's a good one every week, but this one is particularly fun. So the question came in from Alice. We're going to hear Alice's question in a second, and then we're going to tackle it. Before we get into that, though, Rob, how do people submit their own questions?
Well, Alice has done it, and you can too, because it's super easy. You can call on a normal rate, no premium numbers here. It's 013-808 00035. That's 013-808 00035. Super simple. Call, leave a message, and we'll play your question. Or you can go onto propertyhub.net/podcast and leave a recording there. Super simple. And as we said, that's what Alice has done, and she's left us a great question. Let's listen.
Hi, Rob and Rob. My name's Alice, and I just wanted to ask, if you had £80,000 handed to you right now, what would you do with it and why? Just to give us a bit more of an insight into where you are right now in your property lives. Thanks so much. Love your podcast. Bye.
Okay, this is going to be fun. Well, let's start off by saying if someone handed me 80,000, first of all, I'd say thank you. I think manners are very important. Having got that out the way, Rob, why don't you tackle this one first, and then I'll say what I'd do. We don't know each other's answers yet, so it'll be interesting to see how similar or different they are.
Okay, so first I'd go to the travel agents. I know, I'm only kidding. Right, what would I do? Well, of course, I would invest in property, and I think that's what Alice wanted, an answer based on it anyway. So this is not what I think you should do. This is what I would do, because that's what Alice asked. I would invest the 80k in really good properties in really good areas. It's probably something you expected me to say, but it's because it's what I'm doing currently in my portfolio. I'm investing in areas that I think have got great potential for the future, really strong rental demand, are at the moment based further north, but I'm not in the lower end of the market. I'm in the middle and maybe middle up end of the market. So I'm always going to get, hopefully, not always, but certainly more likely to get good tenants, good rents. And yes, the ROI might not be as high as lower value properties, but capital growth hopefully should compensate me. So that's what I would do. And then moving forward, Alice, just if you're interested, I think I'd play Monopoly. So I'm building up a portfolio with these professional lets, if you like. And eventually I'd like to move into bigger projects, so maybe taking on blocks of apartments. Personally, myself, I'm in a very fortunate position that I source them for RMP and a client, so we give them out individually. But I could take a block for myself if I so wished in the future. 80k isn't going to get me there, but it's where I hope to get in the future.
Well, this is boring because my answer is going to be quite similar. But I can tell you why my answer is going to be quite similar, and that might give some context. I would do roughly the same thing. So with 80k, I'd probably look at buying 2 properties sort of round about the 100 to 150,000 mark, putting in a 25% deposit. That would leave enough left over for legals, all those bits and pieces, and probably a little bit left over as well. And yes, those would be good properties in good areas. I mean, I've bought properties for lots of different reasons. I've got quite a mixed portfolio, but at where I am now, I am just buying good quality stuff and renting it out to good quality tenants and leaving it, and then waiting for the property cycle to work its magic. Now, the reason that I would do that with the 80,000 is because it's not the last 80,000 that I'm ever going to have to invest. So I'm in the position where I'm able and perfectly willing to throw in chunks of my own money for deposits. So I'm not necessarily concerned with making every pound work as hard as it possibly can and get that pound to come back to me as quickly as I can so I could invest again. If the 80,000 was maybe an inheritance and it was realistically the only lump of cash that you're going to have for quite a while because you're not in a position to save up more rapidly, then what you would be looking to do with it could be very different. So if I was in that position, then I'd be thinking very much about capital preservation. So I wouldn't be thinking, okay, well, I'll just put it into this property, wait for it to go up and see where we are in a few years. I'd be looking at doing projects where I could get in, add some value, and either flip the property with a view to increasing my cash pot or refinance to get that money back so I could go again and build up a bigger portfolio using that money than I'd be able to if I just stuck it away. I have done that in the past because that was the position I was in. I'm now at a different kind of stage of my property investing journey. So I think it's worth saying that although there seems to be a consensus, we've both given quite a similar answer, that certainly doesn't mean that that is the right way to do it. It just happens that we are both in a fairly similar position in our sort of property journeys at the moment. Your own answer might be very different, and that's absolutely fine.
And remember, it's all going to relate back to your goals. So what you want to achieve, and in the timescales you want to do it, will be very different to what we probably want to do, and what will be very different to the next person and the next person and the next person, because we're not all robots, we're not all the same, and that's great. So your goals are really important, and your strategy should fit round your goals, your long-term, short-term, medium-term goals. Your strategy should apply to that. So what's the best way about setting your goals? Well, go to the Property Hub, check out our courses section. They're all free, and we've got a really, really good course on setting goals. We'll link to it in the show notes. The show notes for this episode are thepropertyhub.net/property advice. That's thepropertyhub.net/property advice. Click the link there. You'll go through to the show notes, and you will see the links to the courses that we've mentioned today.
Now, we talk about the Property Hub Summit every time we do an Ask Rob and Rob podcast, but it could not be more relevant to this question, because this question is exactly the kind of thing that we answer at the Property Hub Summit. People come along, they fill in a questionnaire for us in advance where they tell us where they are now, what they've got in terms of portfolio, what they've got in terms of capital to invest. And we don't share those answers. And we use those answers to frame the discussion. So when we're having a conversation about what their strategy might be and what they want to look into, we can make sure it's relevant for where they are now and where they want to end up. And as a result, everyone who comes along gets a completely personalized plan to go away with and work at. So we do this kind of hot seat where we go around the room and spend time developing the plan for each person. And I think everyone comes along thinking that their time in the hot seat is going to be the most valuable part. But in fact, what everyone goes away saying is the most valuable part is just listening to what everyone else's strategy is. Because you come to realize how many different ways there are of going about investing in property and how to go about finding an approach that fits into your own situation, your own preferences, skill sets, and all that kind of thing. So if you found this question interesting and it's something that you're pondering for yourself, then come along to a summit. We only do them once a quarter and they do get booked up in advance. So if you're interested, do this now and find out if it's for you, and then you can make a decision. Just get out your phone and text the word summit, a space, and then your email address to 88802. So that's text the word summit, followed by a space, and then your email address to 88802. We will get back to you with some more information and you can have a look.
We will also be back next Tuesday with another Ask Rob and Rob. And of course, on Thursday, we'll be back with the Property Podcast. So until then, have fun, take care, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.